Ugliest building in Perth is here to stay.
There is a lot of competition for the title of ugliest building in Perth. There's the windowless Telstra building with its skate ramp tiara, the Soviet-style brutalism of the East Perth train station, the ode to Mission Brown that is the Masonic Lodge in Subiaco, pretty much anything in Morley, and of course the Perth Convention and Exhibition Centre, a building so fugly if you were to take it to bed you'd put a paper bag on its head and then wear one yourself in case the convention centres fell off.
There's not much to like about the PCEC.
Flat, low, boring and finished in a colour that's on the spectrum somewhere between grey and beige. Sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover, but in this case you can. The drab chic interior does its best not to outshine any other part of the building. It's like an airport crossed with a hospital, crossed with a f***ing ugly convention and exhibition centre designed by angry blind architects from Eastern Europe. Seriously, look inside the main ballroom. Looks like a low-rent whorehouse in Reno.
Jeez. Okay, but the most perplexing thing is...
it faces away from the river. This is one of the eternally confusing things about the place. You've got this sparkling waterway right there on the doorstep and you decide to give the loading bays the best view.
Yeah, they did it on a budget.
Still doesn't explain why forklift drivers get a better outlook than international visitors though. But budgets were tight because planning started in a period of economic and social privation known as the 1990s. A decade of droll in Western Australia that was wedged between the cocaine-fuelled excesses of the nouveau riche in the 1980s
Everybody have a good week!
and the meth-fuelled, cashed-up FIFO boganity of the 2000s.
Hey, you like me goatee, bro? Check that out!
With iron ore fetching $20 a tonne instead of 1 or 200, 1990s Western Australia was the jurisdictional equivalent of this guy.
How you holding for cash? I'm a bit bloody broke.
Eminent British architect Sir Norman Foster came up with a concept that better connected the centre to the river. But we were so poor we couldn't stand the higher financial risk, so went with the crushed beer can option that currently soils the foreshore. Then Premier Richard Court committed $100 million to the project, which even back then was a pretty measly sum for the developer, John Roberts' Multiplex Constructions, to work with. As it turned out, you really do get what you pay for, hence the tin shed with no view that was officially opened in 2004 by Richard Court's successor, Jeff Gallop.
But then, finally, a new plan.
Took a long time. The centre is now controlled by the Wiley Group, which was started by Hong Kong's corporate doctor Bill Wiley. John Roberts brought in Bill as an equity partner back in 2001. That was about 5 years before the two men died. The Wiley family, which has been fronted by matriarch Rhonda ever since Bill went to God, recently floated a pretty specky renovation centred on the revolutionary idea that it might be better to have the building face the river. This outraged the powerful and ALP-affiliated Forklift Drivers Union, which used its numbers in the Labor caucus to scuttle the deal. Hence Roger Cook's announcement that the revamp would not go ahead, with the money instead going on some more hospitals, which will treat meth-addicted FIFO workers when they fall off their jet skis.
Yeah, you kind of made that last bit up.
I made up the bit about the Forklift Drivers Union, but the hospital bit, and the FIFO meth bit, is actually real. The downside to putting the renovation on ice is obviously we have a fugly building front and centre of every tourist picture taken from Kings Park in South Perth. The upside is there will be no disruption to the lucrative roster of international events coming to Perth, the most notable of which is the annual What Not to Do When You Build a Convention and Exhibition Centre, Convention and Exhibition. I'm Ben Harvey.
Have you had a bad experience there?
It's shite.